Tuesday, November 14th, 2023. It is 3:08 p.m. We are here for the City of Port Orange and PBA Lieutenants negotiations. John McKinney, Assistant City Manager.
Sharon Cranick, HR Director.
Candace Gates, HR Generalist.
Manny Marino, Chief of Police.
Matt Jones, Attorney.
Juan Carmen, Port Orange Lieutenants.
Greg Forehand, PBA.
Tom Aiken, Port Orange Lieutenant.
Anna Trancosta, Orange Lieutenant.
Wasn't sure how many people would be here today, Warren, so I made a lot of copies.
Okay.
So I figured, y'all have both been coming every so often, so I figured, make sure I have plenty of copies. Okay. I just wanted to go back to City Attorney and I met with the City Manager after our last meeting, and we just reiterated with him that we just wanted to go back on the Article 17 hours of work just as is, not propose, make any changes at all to the article, and leave it just strictly that overtime pay, et cetera, related to natural disasters, hurricanes would be per city policy 1-37. So this will be our, at this time, our final offer for our proposal for Article 17.
And it's status quo, basically.
Yes, sir. Yep.
We'll bring that to you. Just full transparency. I mean, there is going to be some changes. There are positive changes, but at some point when those are ready for prime time, they will come to you, and we can impact bargain that. But those are going to be positive changes.
Jake, you know, no reason not to sign. Okay.
Thank you, sir.
I don't know that.
You need something?
No, I'm just thinking out loud that,
I know that's your copy.
well, that's right. By signing that, you guys don't need to come collectively bargaining with us, because
Correct.
what it says is we'll work under that policy. Right, so even if there's changes to the policy, there's no changes to the contract. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you're going to get a chance to look at it, though.
Okay, next item is, again, just to share with y'all everything that we have done up to date. This is a page right out of the last executive session with council. The only difference from when I presented this at the last executive session with council, under A, B, and C, we hadn't ratified anything yet for B and C. We subsequently ratified, so I just literally added the words ratified behind the CBAs that we have ratified, just to show that, our offer that we did make back in June was the highest offer that we have negotiated so far for year one. Then I received today the remaining items from the other cities regarding base pay. So Sharon and I have spoken to all of the HR directors regarding all the base pays, et cetera, excluding holiday bonuses, incentive pays, vacation and cash outs, et cetera. This is all the base pays. I listed it by Ormond, starting with Ormond, New Smyrna, and DeLand, thinking that they are the agencies that we most closely resemble regarding, the amount of services we might provide, overtime that might be done, extra duty details, et cetera. They seem to be more comparison to Port Orange. So this will be provided to council they did ask for this, so they wanted to know exactly what every lieutenant within the county's base pay was. So that's what's listed, and that pay is as of either last week or today. I received the last one today from DeLand. So with that stated, so in terms of Article 24 wages, we have provided to y'all 2 wage proposals, and I stand to still clearly can extend either one of those to y'all, whether it's everyone gets the same, either the 98 and change, or based on time and grade. So that would still be on the table for y'all for consideration. Article 24 retirement plan. Nothing's changed there. From what was previously provided, we're still working. We've with IUPA, we've done the normal retirement at 20, drop at 20, and the high 3. I do still have a meeting tomorrow at 4:30 with the outside valuator. They had a question regarding the COLA calculation that we've agreed to do with IUPA as part of year 2. So they had a question about that. And once I get that final question, because I did meet with them last Thursday, was it? Mm-hmm. Yep, because I met with them in person.
Last Wednesday.
Was it Wednesday? Thank you. I did meet with them in person last Wednesday. They had a follow-up question, so that's what precipitated the call for tomorrow at 4:30. Once I have that resolved, then I expect to have that valuation returned to me no later than 90 days. So that would then, because again, if you go back and listen to all the meetings that we had, it is the COLA that I requested to be studied would be based off of normal retirement at 20 years. Still the 59, but the normal retirement for COLA would, COLA would go into effect if you worked your normal retirement. Other than that, Warren, this is all that I have at this time.
Okay, just so we're comparing apples to apples, Daytona, there was only one lieutenant that was 2080. They noted them at 2184 to me when I got,
So
when I did the public records request.
I spoke to Mr. Sexton today in person. He can go back down to my phone and tell you what time, but he specifically told me all of their base pay is built off of 2080.
Okay,
that
that's,
was-
because that's not the way it's listed in the public records request.
I'd be more than happy to get him to put that in an email record, but that was, him and I literally did this together when I did the spreadsheet this morning.
Okay, and remember that when the city always in the past has liked to use total compensation. So when you look at the Volusia lieutenants at 94.5 and up, basically, they're all getting free family health care, right? And then when we look at these comparison to the other agreements within the city, if you want to talk about IUPA, they got the $1.95 back in April, and they got 2 years of length of service bonuses, time of service bonuses that you didn't include in your 785, right? That's not included in your 785 average increase for 24, is that correct?
For IUPA?
Yeah,
No, sir.
right.
Yep.
So the 785 is pretty low when you consider they got huge bonuses, $500 a year, plus the $1.95. That's a pretty low number to be presenting to council to make our number look higher than it is.
Yep. This is all done, sir, just based on base pay changes, so that was apples to apples. As stated previously, I did
It's base pay
discuss with
changes
council
after those two
Yep.
things.
And I did also discuss with council the ARPA, and I presented that back to you immediately the next meeting after we had those discussions with council.
Right. So it's disingenuous to give them the number 785, because in the same amount of time the lieutenants have gotten 10% increases. They've gotten the $1.95, the $7.85, and 2 late time of service bonuses. That's pretty disingenuous, if you ask me.
And to your other question, this wage comparison was done explicitly in the way that I was requested to do it by council.
I get
So
it.
Base
I get
pay
it,
to
but-
base pay, we have provided them previously
Right,
with
but
the other
every single
benefits.
other negotiation I have ever gone into with the city, it has been total compensation package. It doesn't favor you to do that this time, so I can understand why you wouldn't want to do that. But the total compensation package for those lieutenants, you know, our average family cost for benefits per month is $733. So you multiply that 733 times 12 months, and what the money that those guys are bringing home compared to Port Orange is like 106.5, which is exactly what we've asked for.
And I'll reiterate, and I believe it was 2009, the Affordable Care Act, as it was passed under the Obama administration, we cannot offer one level of insurance that we don't offer another, so it would have to
And
be.
we're not asking for that.
Yep.
We're asking for a wage
Yep.
to counter what those insurance costs are. That's all we're asking for. I'm not asking you to change our benefits, our insurance. I'm asking you to recognize that, yes, they're making still more money than what we're making, but the 94.5, right? But that they don't have to pay out $733 a month on average for insurance.
Okay.
Right? So I understand why you don't want to include that. But trying to make the argument to me that they're making 94 just is, again, disingenuous. Not in Port Orange dollars, they're not. Right? They're just not. And that, by the way, is by far closer because they act as watch commanders just as 4 of your 5 lieutenants here do. And the only other place that does that in the county is the county. Right? So the most comparable agency to us is the county. Right? Daytona, they're hourly, they can make overtime. I appreciate that we put their base in here. Again, that's the 2080 is different from the 2184 that I was provided as a result of the public records request. But I understand that their gross numbers are going to be way higher because they're hourly. But if you compare the Daytona's base and the county's base total compensation package, we're not even in the ballpark. We have a DeLand lieutenant making 97. And I'll have to look, but I believe that's the 2022 amount that he made. I have his W-2 in my office. So, I appreciate you giving us these, but I would also appreciate if you would
And I just.
be genuine with council when you tell them IUPA ratified 7.85, but that's after the $1.95 and the 2 ARPA raises they got, and that the county gets health insurance included. If we're gonna present it to them, it would be nice to present it fairly. It's easy for the council, if they don't have that background information, to look like we're being ridiculous. And we're not. We're just trying to be fair,
And I'll point that out next meeting, sir.
you know? I have been asked to issue a counter, if you all wanna see it. That's up to you.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
2 more? Yeah. So the way we constructed it was based on the 2 offers you gave. We gave one with a pay scale model, using the 5-year pay scale, and a flat rate model. There is a proposal for both year 1. If you wanted to talk about 2 years, we could do that. And they'd even be willing to talk about 3 years, but that would require a minimum of a wage opener and an article of choice for each side, not a mutually agreed one.
Okay, so I can make sure I
Yep.
understand this.
Yep.
So for year 1,
Depending on how the city would rather structure it, you said in one of them that it was the city's desire to have a pay scale. So if you wanna do it the pay scale way, that would be year one lieutenant or probationary lieutenant up through the 5-year pay scale.
Okay.
If you didn't wanna do that and just wanted to do it flat rate, there's a number for that too.
Okay. And then on the year 2,
That matches what you've provided in your offer, which would be a 5% raise across the
Yep.
board. Would just be a little bit higher number.
And that should be a comma after 99.
yeah.
Yes, should be a comma, my mistake.
And if we were to consider again, I presented the best and final offer, so obviously all of this has to go back to council.
Yep.
What are you thinking if we did a 3-year? For a 3-year contract, a wage opener and 1 article for 3rd year. So for year 2, would you want a wage opener other than probably the retirement just identical to IUPA?
Yes, if we wanted to do a retirement opener, sure. The wages, we wouldn't have to open, I gave you
Correct.
the 5-year, just 5%.
Yeah, I was just gonna ask, just to be clear with this offer, is that wages only, and then retirement still an open article? Or would this close the contract this year and then we come back to retirement year 2? What was the intent there?
Well, the intent would be,
Let's take a
Yeah.
minute. Let's take a minute.
okay.
Here, we'll exit. So
Okay.
y'all are all here. Thank you.
Used to having a chair.
Okay.
Oh,